So I've just fed Eddy. Eddy is my neighbour's emu who just appeared one day in his paddock, and he has no idea how, why, who or what, when. And I had a sheep loose in my Bali garden here, and I flagged the neighbour over and said, I've got a lamb here. And I asked him about Eddy, and I said, whose emu is that? And he said, I have no idea. He just appeared in my paddock one day. So that was December, late December. So I have been feeding him since, and he looked pretty raggedy when he first came, but he looks really good now. He's over there, but my dogs are scaring him, so he's not coming over. I don't actually know if he's a boy or a girl, but I've nicknamed him Eddy. And I've also taken it upon myself to feed the neighbour's sheep because they just looked so scrawny and sad. And now I think, look at the size of this lamb. Like, this lamb now is like, huge. So, and I have to say, it's a win-win situation because they poo here, which is not my property, but God doesn't know that, or nature, or Betty, whatever you want to call this entity that creates Earth. So although we have a fence here, they don't know that. So what they do is, although they're pooing that side of the fence, it is also making this side of the fence nutritious, which is really good because I actually don't have much water on my property, which will change. This is March 2023, so this is the driest hopefully you'll ever see this Bali garden. But I will take any help I get. So if that's from the sheep, I'll take it. And Eddy, come on, you can't tell me that emu poo isn't good for Australian soil. I mean, I think they've been here for a while. It's interesting that we think that sheep poo and cow poo and horse poo and is all so much better than kangaroo poo and emu poo, because if you ever look here, kangaroo poo is something I have a lot here. But that's kangaroo poo. And kangaroos are interesting because what they do, I'm trying to find one to show you, is they dig at the bottom of the plant and they love the roots of the plant. Oh look, here's one. So that's what kangaroos do. And I think it's a combination of water and food all in one, because you think kangaroos are made or bred, created, whatever you want to say, from, to the Australian climate. So I live in Western Australia, in the southwest of Western Australia, and it has been a pretty dry March here. This is my Bali garden this was actually just a neglected paddock. Now, all of these plants are actually from my house in Bateman that I lived for 22 years with my family. My daughters were 6 when we moved in there. And and that's where we had our fire on Christmas Eve of 2018, was at that property. And when we moved here, or when we actually sold the property, I took every single plant from that property and I put here. Now, what's really interesting is I don't have much water here, so I actually haven't watered these. They have probably got once a month water, and it has been a blooming hot summer in WA. Now, this frangipani is from Leach Highway, or from Bateman, and look at this, like, it's astounding. And then, just like this little baby here was like the size of this little tiny one. And now, look at it. And it's so healthy. I think that there's some sort of water here, because look how green this grass is here. These frangipanis are from my masseuse, Rika. And thank you, Rika. And she gave them to me in December, and I just couldn't put them in the ground because I can't afford any water for them. So I just left them here, and they seem to be doing fine. But do you see how green it is here? Again, no water for months. And like you can see that, this side is dead. Actually, this side is pretty good too. My dad mowed here. My dad's been a lawnmower man for like 30 years. And he said, wow, it's really, really good grass. But there's a reason. There's something under here that is feeding this grass. Here, see where that light coloured leaf is? That's actually a passion fruit vine. Again, never ever watered and doing really well. So it just goes to show you that some things, or that nature's just blooming amazing. Now, this is my thornless bougainvillea. I read that monks had grown this cactus with no needles because they had told the cactus that it was safe, because that's why plants, produce things that, an invader's going to come in and invade them. So that's why they produce needles and things that will keep predators away. So I did the same thing. Now, this was around my spa area in Bateman, and I did the same thing. I used to water my plants every day. I was such a devoted planetarian or gardener, whatever you want to call it, And I told it was safe. And you will see if we go, and she's not long been here actually. And look, she is just going to be stunning. But you can see there's no thorns at all. I'm hoping that she will creep up this barn wall, and then I can show people that it is all about your environment, your story. And if you change your story and your environment, then you have a different outcome. And this just goes to show you that I've planted a barley garden in Australia, in Western Australia, really, really, really dry state. And it is flourishing by itself. Like, it is just doing, and I have to tell you people that this is the end of summer. So it's only going to get better. I know you like looking at it going, oh, Pam, it's dead. Like, really look at it. Like, you need to have a good look at yourself. But it's not. It's not dead. There is life everywhere. This is bamboo. And just so you know, to put it in perspective, the person that used to own this bamboo was the owner of Eagle Wolves, my Ugg boot company. And she's been dead 20 years. So she died in 2003, and it is now 2023. So I think she'll be stoked that it is. The kangaroos do really like this bamboo though. Look, they've smashed this one. But do you know what? You have to live with the other animals. So I'm not fussed at all. Like, I thought if I walked around the barley garden, Eddy might come out, but he is being really stubborn tonight, and maybe he's not hungry. I read that emus actually can go a month without eating. Can you hear a drumming? He stopped now. The drumming is Eddy. And I actually am going to look this up to see why they drum. But it's very interesting. I love the contrast here. I love the contrast of the barley garden and then, the Australian, gum tree. Looking after it. It's awesome. Now, this is amazing. This was my mum's. And my mum has been dead 25 years. And I have a few offshoots of this plant. But isn't this amazing to think that you are keeping somebody alive by keeping, their plant alive? I'm so proud of this. And of course, every time I look at it, I think of my mum. And I really didn't know how this would survive, because if you can see, this is actually, right out in the middle of the paddock, full sun, no water. So I'm so surprised it has done what it's done, but so proud. And as I said, this barley garden I have completely neglected because, there's just so many other things to be doing. So this bar and hut I bought off, one of those second-hand markets, and then this one here too. So she's all ready to have, people in her. And then my little car, which I'm about to go and feed the kangaroos. But as you can see, you've got to start somewhere. And this garden is really nothing now, but you give this a couple of years, and this baby is just gonna rock. And do you know the homes that it will give? So much wildlife is crazy. And to think that this was just a dirty old paddock that you know, no one really, went in or did anything weird. So to me, everything matters, and you can do so much. You really can. It's something that, give it a go. Give it a go. Have a beautiful evening. Bye.